We've got the best Christmas present idea even before Christmas. Whether you're a mom, a dad, an uncle, an aunt, a grandmother, a grandfather, if you got kids around for Christmas, then you need this before Christmas starts. Now, just like any other time, we want to know what's behind the wrapping paper. Well, let's go ahead and find out. So what we had an idea is that we walked into Harbor Freight one day and we thought, you know what? What would really make Christmas morning the best, especially when the kids are opening all their presents, and that could mean whether you're at grandma's house, whether your own house, whatever, presents are getting opened and batteries are having to be installed, packages are needing to be opened, you name it, things are having to be done. It's not like you just open things and play with them or open things and use them. There's always needs to be some type of interaction. Well, we walked into Harbor Freight and we realized, you know what, they've got a mini toolbox. And by the way, you better snatch these things up really quick because they're going fast, because people are using them for things other than tools like makeup and artist pencils and markers and paints and things like that. But anyway, really cool toolbox, but it's not just that. We got more inside. Let's take a closer look. This is the U.S. General mini toolbox. Really cool little idea. Functioning drawers, drawer liners, we have a deep drawer, a shallow drawer, and even a top. Now there are no safety mechanisms here, there are no latches locking everything down, so we can't go that far, but it is really a cool little novelty idea, but we thought let's take it past novelty and actually make it useful. Now just to give you an idea, the size of this thing, 11 inches long, a little less than 6 inches wide, and about 6 inches tall. And by the way, if you want to know capacity, 10-pound capacity and 5-pound drawer capacity. So don't overload these things, but I doubt you're able to get 10 pounds in here anyway. But it is a really cool idea. First thing we got to do, if you know me at all and you followed me, especially when it comes to toolboxes, I hate these drawer liners just kind of flopping in the wind in there because they always get pushed back in the drawers. So that's first thing. Fix that. And all we need, a little contact cement, and you don't have to overdo this at all. A little spray there, and that's all you need. You can let this tack up. You're supposed to let it tack up, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put it in there, and now, you know, my drawer liner is not going to go anywhere. Do the same for the top. Okay, now they're all done. They're not going to scoot around when you slam the drawer. It's not going to push those back. So that's just kind of pet peeve of mine. Now we've got that fixed. But we're going to talk about much more than just the toolbox. Let's get this other package open and see what we're talking about. I think you probably got an idea that it's Christmas morning, presents are being opened. We got those wonderful clamshells and blister packs and screws and battery doors that need to be opened with little small screws, and now we're dealing with Torx head fasteners and hex head fasteners and all sorts of different stuff. And then somebody brings in some IKEA furniture and just sends the whole place to a crazy fest, right? Anyway, let's open this one up. As you can see, we can get the mini toolbox in black and red. You can also get a third color. I believe it's blue. And I don't know if you can see, but we did get the special edition in the red. If you can't tell, this is a one-off model. This is the U.S. Genera, or the Genera, or the something. Anyway, no, it looks like they left off the L on this one, so didn't get a discount on that either. But anyway, the U.S. General Mini Toolbox, cool. In red, same thing as the black. Oops, kind of gave a peek there. But let's take a look at what we're talking about as to what you need. Now, our thoughts on this was not necessarily just the DIYer or not just the mechanic or the construction guy, but really anybody that needs to deal with things on a Christmas morning, right? So open up here, we thought, you know what, why not have a tape measure? That's always good measure to have. So the little Bauer 6-foot tape measure. And then a pick set. You know, whether you're trying to pick little decals off or little stickers off or whatever it may be, the pick set is always handy to have. I think these are like $2.99. I think this was $2.99. A pair of flush cutters. Now these are the Harbor Freight version, or the cheaper version. I think these were also like $3 or $4, so you can't beat that for flush cutters. Why do you need flush cutters? When you're dealing with these guys, and this is another item on our list. Zip ties are always handy to have. That's why they're on our list. Also, if you're going to use zip ties outside, make sure they're the black ones, because black ones have UV inhibitors in them. The white ones do not. Just a little tip for you. Also, before you cut into this, don't cut the top off of it. Take a piece of duct tape. Really, any tape will work, but duct tape's going to be the best. And put a piece of duct tape on there, and then take your razor knife, also on our list. Always handy to cut things. Could be a pocket knife, but we got a razor knife. So, and just cut a slit across there like that. Now what that enables you to do is to reach in here, grab a couple of zip ties, pull them out, and none of them are going to fall out of there. You could go put that back in your big toolbox and take these and put them right up here. Another little tip for zip ties. Take you a small zip tie. And by the way, we're going to get around to using those flush cutters in a second. Take you a small zip tie and zip tie all your large zip ties. Okay. And by the way, don't cut that tab. Why? We could use our flush cutters to do that, but we're not, because I've got that nice and tight and they're nice compact. But then when I go to pull one of these out of here, now they're all loose again, but I can just take that and cinch it back down and keep that nice and tight. But that keeps those zip ties nice and tight here. They're not going to float all over the place. But let's take a look at those flush cutters and what these enable you to do, and that is cut the tail off of that zip tie nice and flush. So there's nothing sticking up there. It's not going to cut you. You can drag your arm across it. So when you got those brake cables and shifter cables on those bicycles that you want to make look nice and tidy, you can put that zip tie on there, cut it nice and flush, and it's not going to cut little Johnny's leg or arm or little Susie. So very handy. Flush cutters, razor knives always handy. Zip ties are always handy. By the way, I bought all this, by the way, at Harbor Freight. I just threw the Milwaukee inks all in there, but a permanent marker is always good to have, a little Sharpie or whatever you want to get. I'm sure Harbor Freight probably sells them too. And let's get our pick set back in here and our tape measure. Fits nice and secure in there, and we got a couple of zip ties in there also. Let's open up our top drawer. And listen, we know we're playing around, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, grandma's ceramic baby doll or favorite teacup gets broken. So it's always nice to have a little super glue on hand. I think that was $2. I think it was $1.99. Then, for those little bitty situations, you know, you've got those little screws and oddball stuff. You've got a complete kit here. I think this was $12. And so you've got a little bit for every situation. You got a little driver here as well, and even an extension for that driver fits in there, and then even a flexible extension. So, you know, that IKEA furniture, that small furniture where you're kind of going around your elbow to put in that screw. Now it gives you some flexibility there to kind of bend around the corner and be able to do that. So very handy little kit here. Again, I think that was $12.99, or let's just call it $13. And even a magnifying glass to find that screw. Okay, so there's drawer number 1, or drawer number 2 if this is 1. Anyway, let's roll on to the third drawer, or the second drawer. So we got another driver here, and then we have, listen, everybody needs a little motorized driver, but we're not spending big money. We don't have to buy an impact driver or anything like that. Just a nice little driver to be able to drive those screws. Plug it into the wall, charge it up. This whole kit with the battery installed and everything was like $19.99, so $20. There's a charger in there. You can get a light here at the base of the tool, and you can push this little switch right here. You can turn it straight, or you can give it that, I don't know, that's not a 90-degree angle, maybe a 75-degree angle. So little handy little tool, and still yet, I think this is like a 36-piece kit. So some larger bits from Torx to flatheads to Phillips and PZ to even nut drivers. So very handy little kit to have. So both bits as well as the driver. And then you even have a manual screwdriver here as well if you need to go that route. We're not done yet. And another perfect addition to this toolbox is a little magnetized dish. So we have these all over the shop for collecting screws and fasteners and things when you're taking parts off of cars. But this obviously is not going to fit in the drawer, but it'll magnetize right there. Or just stick it on the side, so when you're taking all those screws out of that new toy, you're not going to lose them. Put them in there. It's magnetized. It's going to hold everything nice and tidy. And that's one of their small dishes as well. You can get them a lot bigger. I just thought that was really handy to put there. I did have another tool that I wanted to fit in the box, but it wouldn't fit in the box. But very handy to have, again, for opening those stupid blister packs. Like all of the stuff that we bought, most all of it came in these blister packs. And so having some shears like this, you have no problem cutting through there, where your regular household scissors are probably going to have a tough time, but you can see I can cut right through those molded corners and everything. So very handy to have. So that's it. We just thought we'd share with you our thoughts on having a little toolbox ready for Christmas morning, or even getting into all those Christmas parties you're going to be having with gifts being shared and everything like that. So might be a great gift to give somebody. Again, maybe at that person's house that's maybe not so DIY, or maybe doesn't have a lot of tools. Be a good idea to buy a little toolbox like this, because let's face it, I mean, this is cool enough to sit on the kitchen counter. It doesn't have to go anywhere else, and now all of this stuff doesn't end up in that catch-all drawer either.